Hello and welcome to this video on designing an information management system. My name is Daunia Pavone and I'm going to talk to you about 4 main points today. First, a common process for decision-making based on evidence for information management, assessment and analysis in the humanitarian context. Second, 4 essential actors that must work together for decision-making based on evidence. Then I will give you an overview of the roles of these actors at 3 key steps of the common process and for each level of analysis. During the work for the ground bargain, and specifically for the work stream on needs assessment, a group of most global clusters, many UN offices and agencies, some donors, NGOs and other organizations and initiatives got together and identified a common process for decision-making based on evidence. This common process is based on experience and can ensure that data and analysis are useful and usable for humanitarian response. The group took the name of EDAWR, which stands for Ensuring Data and Analysis are Useful and Usable for Response. The EDAWR group identified 4 main actors that are essential to enable decision-making based on evidence. First, the decision makers, the people that have to make decisions for the humanitarian response based on the evidence that is collected and analyzed. Those are heads of programs, HCT, donors, project managers. Second, information management or data experts, who are the people that collect, clean, process the data. Third, sectoral or subject matter experts, the people that have an expertise in a specific sector or subject matter, for example, on GBV, on protection, WASH, shelter, or disability inclusion. The 4th group of actors involved includes all those who are the experts on the context on a specific response. The cultural, the context experts can be local organizations, local staff, or other local experts. Excluding even only one of these actors from the process impedes evidence-based decision-making. For example, if we exclude the information management or data expert from the process, we will have no evidence to base our decisions on. If we exclude the subject matter experts, the analysis won't make sense. There will be no sectoral understanding. If we exclude the cultural or context experts, then we won't have any type of contextualized or cultural understanding in our analysis. If we exclude decision makers from the process, we may very well have perfect data and analysis, but that will not be used by anybody to make decisions. The EDAWR group also identified the process that is common to most actors working in the humanitarian response. The same that you can see on this slide. As you can see, we start at the top of the screen by defining the purpose of the data collection. We then coordinate with data users, assess the information already available, design methodology and tools for data collection, collect, process, analyze, and share data. We're now going to look specifically at 4 of the key steps of the common process, what they mean and what roles and responsibilities each of those 4 groups of actors have. The 4 steps are: assess information landscape, identify information needs, design data collection tools, and analyze. A separate video will focus more on methods and sources. Assess information landscape, also called secondary data review. Well, why do we review secondary data? Because using data that has already been collected and is available saves time, and any type of primary data collection will take much more time. Saving time means that we're going to respond to people's needs faster and therefore save lives. Using secondary data may also help us reduce risk for the staff that would otherwise be collecting the data under dangerous circumstances. And it's also a matter of respect for the time of affected communities who are often over-assessed. And finally, using existing data saves not just time, but also a lot of public money from our taxes. It is an ethical responsibility, therefore, to use existing or secondary data first. The term secondary data refers to any data that has been collected, collated, and analyzed by other agencies, institutions, or bodies, and likely was not collected for our own specific purpose. The role of reviewing existing data falls on the information management expert and the subject matter experts. The second key step we're going to focus on today is identifying information needs. But what are information needs? Well, information needs are what we need to know in order to make our decisions. They're not the same as the question in the questionnaire, and we might need more than one question to respond to an information need. Sometimes we can even respond to an information need without asking any question. For example, observing. As an example, if I have to prioritize where in a country I should implement my WASH programs, this is the decision I need to make, I will need at least two pieces of information. What are the locations where WASH need is highest and where I can safely access? For each of these two, as you can see from the slide, we can use different questions, depending on the context and on the method and source of information. To help us, we have analysis frameworks, like the PAF, because they help us identify our information needs. But remember, you have to adapt the PAF to your context. Now the roles. Who identifies decisions to be made? Who identifies information needed to take these decisions? Well, not surprisingly, it is the role of decision makers, as they know both what type of decision they're trying to make and what information they're missing that would allow them to make such decisions. The third step now that we're considering today is developing data collection tools. And these are questionnaires or data analysis plans. A data analysis plan tells me what the analysis, the final product, will look like at the end. It is a little bit like building a house. The architect draws a plan of what the house will look like at the end. And it is indeed an excellent practice also to add mock-ups, simulations of the final analysis, to be sure that the data users know what type of information they will receive at the end. This minimizes mistakes and minimizes time wasted collecting data that will not be used, and allows to collect the relevant data in a useful format. Now the roles. Who develops data collection tools? Well, it is a team effort. Of course, the information management expert develops data collection tools, including questionnaires and data analysis plan with the mock-ups. And then subject matter experts verify that the content is correct. Context and cultural experts verify the questions are appropriate and make sense in the context. And then, of course, decision makers verify that the expected results are indeed the information they need. Let's look now at the last step, analysis. Speaking of analysis may be confusing because each of the four actors will have different understanding of what analysis is. For example, for somebody who works with data, analysis is often a chart, a table, or a map. For somebody who works on protection, analysis is often a long narrative. And these are all possible meanings of what analysis is. The main reason for this is that analysis is composed by different levels, each building on each other. The first level of analysis is descriptive analysis. The information that has been collected is analyzed and described. A picture is painted. The second level of analysis goes to understanding the correlation between information. It explains why things are as they are. The third level of analysis is called interpretation. Here, the analysts interpret and draw conclusions on the basis of the previous two levels of analysis. In the next level, the analysts predict what may happen if there is no intervention. In the last level of analysis, the prescriptive analysis, we suggest possible options for response to the situation we have analyzed. At the end, decision makers will take their decisions based on the previous levels of analysis, from descriptive to prescriptive. Each of the four groups of actors has specific roles at each level of analysis. The information management or data experts lead the descriptive analysis, using the data to describe the situation. Subject matter experts and context experts then take a leading role when it comes to explaining and interpreting, and continue leading the analysis during the anticipatory and prescriptive analysis level. Decision makers, as said, use the results of the previous levels to make their decisions. The information management data experts will continue contributing to these levels of analysis by ensuring that the analysis remains true to the data, and will likely need to explain the limitations of the used methods and sources. And finally, rights holders. The affected population is best placed to identify the risks they experience, guide the analysis of what these risks mean and the significance on their own lives, and devise local strategies for protection. In conclusion, try to remember there is a common process to have useful and usable data and analysis shared by most humanitarian actors. There are also commonly defined roles and responsibilities for each step of this common process. We also focused on three crucial steps: reviewing secondary data, identifying information needs, and designing data collection tools. And finally, analysis is composed by various levels, and each actor has specific roles for each level of analysis. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope this helps you in your analysis and response work. If you want to know more, you can check these online resources.